In this video, we're going to take a look at the waivers and contracts solution in AlleyTrak. Waivers and contracts are a great way to integrate this to your booking checkout process for your customers. When a customer books a reservation, you can send them the waiver or contract link and they can submit that before showing up at the facility. Also, you can have these waivers available for your customers to sign when they check in for their event at the facility. So in this video, we're going to take a look at three processes. We're going to look at creating and managing waivers. We're then going to check out the customer checkout experience and submission process for filling out these waivers. And then we're going to take a look at the check-in process and how you can look up submissions and then view them related to a specific booking. So getting started, we can go into waivers and contracts, and then we're going to go into manage waivers. So we can click add new at the top right to create a new waiver. In this case, we're going to start by looking at a waiver that I've already pre-configured. If we click on actions, we can view some different actions we can take. We can edit a waiver, we can view it, we can view the QR code for it, which is very beneficial because we can print this and provide it to our customers in center to submit from their mobile device. We can clone this waiver to keep the current version as is, and then we can create new ones as needed. But we can also go in here and we'll just click edit to take a look at the one that we have configured. We have an internal title, so we can define different versions of waivers over time and make changes as needed. We can redefine this as a waiver or a contract, which displays slightly differently with different terminology to the customer in the submission process. Then we can define a heading, upload an image, put in our waiver or contract terms and conditions essentially, and then the customer will fill out a required signing section, which includes first name, last name, email, phone number, and then you can also include the ability for them to submit on behalf of a minor, and then also the ability to enroll in promotions or a checkbox that they can select yes or no for. Once the customer has submitted the waiver, we're going to take them to a confirmation page, display this information, and then they can either choose to submit another waiver or they can end their session and clear out any additional waiver data. So we'll go ahead and click cancel here, and then we're going to go in and preview this waiver. So we're going to go into waivers, and then we're going to click view waiver. It's going to open up our waiver interface here, and we can see this getting displayed. This is a URL that you could provide your customer to fill out from your website, or you can add it on social media where relevant. Customer can review all of the details and then fill out as needed. I'll start to fill this out here. And then I can opt in for promotions if I would like. We're recording and displaying down at the bottom the date and time of the submission. When a customer submits a waiver, we are doing two forms of record keeping. We are keeping a database record of that submission, but we're also keeping an image-based record of this, which allows us to view the exact copy and content that the customer submitted for that waiver. Now, once we've submitted this waiver, we can see our confirmation screen. We have a button to submit another, or we can select that we are all done. If we click submit another, it's going to reload the waiver for us, and then all of our copy that we had originally provided is pre-filled for us. We can then change this out where relevant and submit in a really quick order. So in this case, I might submit on behalf of a minor. We'll type in Luna, and then we'll go ahead and submit this waiver. Now, if we're all done, we can click all done, and the waiver will clear itself and rebuild, and then it is ready for another customer to submit. There's also an idle process in place where if the user is inactive for more than 3 minutes, the waiver will automatically clear all of the data, making it suitable for use in center to avoid customers filling it out and leaving potentially personal information in the waiver. Now we're going to transition over to the review process for the waivers. If we go into waivers and contracts and view submissions, we'll be able to see our waiver submissions here. We can see the two most recent ones that we have here submitted by myself and for Luna. And we can go into actions and view submission to pull up the image of that waiver submission. So really handy to have this as a record, especially if you are modifying the terms and conditions and waiver details over time. This is a good way to ensure that what the customer provided is accurate to that point in time. Now, waivers can also be added to your booking flow. So if we go into manage locations and we go into our location for bowling in this case, we can search for contract, and we have contract settings here, and in this case I've included the URL for this contract link. You can use alternative waiver solutions if you would like, but if you use the AlleyTrak waiver solution, we'll automatically include the AlleyTrak order ID to that contract link. And that's really beneficial because when we go into our reservation dashboard, we can see an example submission I have here where I booked the reservation and then the customer received the email with a link to fill out the waiver. And then in this case, 4 submissions were completed for this. We can see the date and time when those were recorded. And this is a really good process for check-in because we can see how many guests we have participating and we can confirm that we have all of the numbers or required submissions. If during check-in we see that we still need additional customers to fill out a waiver, we can provide them the link in center for them to submit that waiver. Or if we have a kiosk handy, they can just submit from that kiosk and then we can manage that check-in process. That is the core functionality for the waiver solution. In the month of October and rolling into November, waivers are free for use at this point. In November, we're going to be requiring that waivers to create and have waivers available, you need to be on the AlleyTrak Ultimate subscription. Ultimately, there is some pricing requirements around waivers. We are storing all of those waiver solutions, and that has a pretty significant cost associated to it, which is why we are requiring that Ultimate subscription level to have and offer waivers. If you have any questions about getting set up with waivers, or you have any feedback or suggestions on enhancements to the service, feel free to reach out. Thanks so much for your time. We'll talk to you later.